Because we're in a market transition period right now, where we believe the relationship between a property owner and their agency, the collaboration, the trust, the advice, and the strategy has arguably never mattered more. In times where markets are shifting, policy is changing, there's more noise than ever to cut through. And behind every property decision is a person trying to build a better future for their family, for their retirement, for the life they're working towards. That's where we show up as your local estate agents. And that's what I want to talk to you about for the next few minutes, where the market is, what it's meant for you, and where we think it's heading. Let's talk about where the Melbourne market actually sits right now. On interest rates, they've risen 3 times since late 2025, and there are 5 RBA meetings scheduled for the remainder of the year, with the next one in June. The RBA are closely watching 2 things: the inflation band of 2 to 3%, which the federal budget predicted would sit at around 5% this year, before dropping back to 2.5% in the subsequent years, and the employment rate. In practical terms, interest rates directly affect the serviceability of a market, what people can borrow and what it costs them to repay it. And with the recent budget changes, any negative gearing benefits have been moved out of the serviceability calculations for investor loans, so that's a real shift worth understanding. The headline snapshot across Melbourne is this: there is slightly more property for sale than this time last year. But the notable shift is that the volume of sales has actually reduced by between 10 and 15%, depending on the suburb and municipality. Auction clearance rates are still decent, but it's worth understanding what the number actually measures. It's really only a snapshot of unconditional buyers purchasing above a reserve price within 28 days. Given that auctions are in the majority of sales in Melbourne, it's not the best market of overall market sentiment. SQM research figures shows that approximately 20% of all listings available in Metro Melbourne have been on the market to over 6 months, which reflects the experience we have where the well-presented, priced and marketing homes are disproportionately attracting the best interest. The new listing pipeline across winter is looking softer as potential sellers evaluate conditions, and that's actually good for the prices. There's also the announcement of changes to the auction system and the real estate rules in the period ahead of the state election in late November, which lands right in the middle of the spring market. On the supply side, within many municipalities across Melbourne's east, the pipeline of approved plans and permits have never been higher. The holdup has been the business case. Construction costs and delays have made it difficult to get property out of the ground. Here's the big picture though. Melbourne's currently the most affordable capital city in the country. It is going to attract more and more attention from investors searching for your yield and cash flow, and we are already seeing that reflected in rental prices, which are rising significantly. Vacancy rates across Melbourne's east remain extremely tight, and that is not changing anytime soon. So if you own existing property in Melbourne right now, you are holding a superior tax position to any new investor entering the market in a city with rising rents at what we believe is the bottom of the property clock. That is genuinely a strong place to be.